Have you noticed how someone doing you a small favor suddenly makes you feel like you owe them? Maybe a coworker brought you coffee, and now you feel compelled to help them with that project. Or a stranger held the door open, and you found yourself thanking them way more enthusiastically than necessary. This isn't just politeness. This is manipulation happening in real time. And the scariest part, you don't even realize it's working on you. Every single day. This silent psychological trick has a name. It's called reciprocity. And it's being used on you by marketers, salespeople, friends, romantic partners, even complete strangers. Once you understand how it works, you'll start seeing it everywhere. And you'll never look at a free sample the same way again. Let's start with the basics. Reciprocity is hardwired into human psychology. When someone gives us something, our brains light up with a kind of cognitive conflict. We feel uncomfortable. Research shows that receiving a gift triggers regions of the brain associated with emotion and decision-making, creating a mental dilemma that needs to be resolved. The easiest way to resolve that uncomfortable feeling? Give something back. This isn't a conscious choice most of the time. It's automatic. It's primal. And it's incredibly powerful. Social psychologists call this the norm of reciprocity, a social rule that says when someone does something for you, you should do something for them in return. This rule exists in every culture around the world. It's so deeply embedded in us that we have harsh words for people who break it. We call them moochers, ingrates, takers. The social pressure to reciprocate is immense, and we'll go to great lengths to avoid being seen as someone who doesn't give back. Now here's where it gets manipulative. People who understand reciprocity can use it as a weapon. They don't need to threaten you. They don't need to raise their voice. All they need to do is give you something small, something you didn't ask for, and suddenly you feel indebted. There's a famous study from the early 1970s called the Coca-Cola experiment. Participants thought they were evaluating paintings alongside another person named Joe. But Joe was actually working with the researchers. During a break, Joe would leave the room and come back with 2 bottles of Coke, one for himself and one for the participant. It was a small, unexpected gesture. Later, Joe asked the participants if they'd buy raffle tickets from him. The results were stunning. People who received the free Coke bought twice as many raffle tickets compared to those who got nothing. Think about that. A 10-cent bottle of soda created a sense of obligation strong enough to make people spend significantly more money. The favor was tiny. The return was massive. That's the power of reciprocity. You see this trick everywhere once you know what to look for. Ever wonder why charities send you free address labels or a dollar bill in the mail? They're banking on reciprocity. You didn't ask for those labels, but now that you have them, you feel a little guilty not donating. Why do grocery stores offer free samples? Sure, they want you to taste the product, but they're also triggering your psychological need to give back. After eating that free piece of cheese, you're more likely to buy the whole block, not just because it tasted good, but because you feel like you should. Software companies offer free trials for the same reason. Once you've used their service for 30 days and gotten comfortable, canceling feels wrong. You've already received value. Your brain is screaming at you to reciprocate by paying for it. This is reciprocity in action. It's not about the product, it's about the obligation. But reciprocity doesn't just happen with strangers and companies. It happens in your closest relationships too. Think about a friend who always does small favors for you without being asked. They pick up your coffee order. They offer to drive you to the airport. They remember your birthday with a thoughtful gift. These gestures seem kind on the surface, and often they are. But sometimes there's a pattern. Over time, you start to feel like you owe them. When they ask you for something, even something that makes you uncomfortable, you say yes. Not because you want to, but because you feel obligated. You've been on the receiving end of so many small favors that saying no feels selfish. That's manipulation through reciprocity. The favors were never really free. They were investments. And now you're paying the returns. Research even shows that people reciprocate influence. When someone follows your advice, you're more likely to follow theirs. It creates a loop of mutual obligation that can be incredibly difficult to break. Reciprocity can also turn dark in romantic relationships. Love bombing is a classic example. At the beginning of the relationship, your partner showers you with affection, gifts, attention, and compliments. It feels incredible. You feel special, valued. But all of that generosity creates a massive sense of debt. You feel like you owe them your time, your loyalty, your forgiveness when they mess up. Later, when they start withdrawing that affection or behaving poorly, you don't leave. You stay. Because you remember all the wonderful things they did for you at the start, and walking away feels like betraying someone who gave you so much. That initial flood of kindness wasn't love. It was a down payment on control. The relationship becomes unbalanced, and you're trapped by your own sense of obligation. This is why reciprocity can be so dangerous. It doesn't feel like manipulation, it feels like fairness. So how do you protect yourself? The first step is awareness. Recognize when someone is giving you something you didn't ask for, especially if there's no clear reason for it. A free gift from a stranger, an unsolicited favor from a coworker, an over-the-top gesture from someone you just met. Ask yourself, is this genuine kindness or is this setting up an obligation? The second step is to give yourself permission to say no. You are not required to reciprocate every act of kindness, especially when you didn't request it. If someone gives you something and then expects something in return, that's not a gift. That's a transaction, and you have every right to decline. The third step is to be mindful of your own behavior. Are you using reciprocity to manipulate others, even unintentionally? Are you giving with strings attached? True generosity expects nothing in return. If you find yourself keeping score, it's time to reflect on your motivations. Reciprocity itself isn't evil. It's the foundation of cooperation, trust, and community. When used ethically, it builds strong relationships and makes society function. The problem arises when it's used strategically to exploit people's natural sense of fairness. Once you understand the mechanics, you can start to see the difference between genuine connection and calculated influence. You can protect yourself from those who give to take. And you can choose to give without expecting anything back, which is the most powerful form of kindness there is. The silent manipulation trick isn't so silent anymore. Now that you know how it works, you hold the power. Don't let a free sample, a small favor, or an unsolicited gift control your decisions. Recognize reciprocity for what it is, a deeply human instinct that can be used for good or for manipulation. The choice of how you respond is entirely yours. If this video opened your eyes to the psychology happening around you every day, do me a favor, no strings attached. hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's spread awareness, not manipulation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.